Namaste, this is Mary. Thank you for joining me today as I share with you a poem called The Endgame in my book of poetry called The Playing Fields, published by Pegasus, written by me, Mary M. It depicts the battle between good and evil as if it were the battle between two women, Dominic and Mary. So here it goes, without any further ado, the endgame. I had a dream. What does it mean? For the life of me I cannot see. Dominic. A solemn, secretive young lady in black, surrounded by black, front and back. A long black coat to the floor she wore. I'm sure that's not all that I saw. Her long, straight black hair was pitch black dark, not fair. It almost swept the dark black floor, matching the black coat she wore. I could see her back as she stood there clad in black, slim, sullen and tall. I suddenly hear her call. Get the scissors as I stand, for this hair, please understand, needs to be cut short. Most of it I must abort. And this long, fur-edged black coat, hanging on me like a black goat, drags me down with its weight. It shortly needs to meet its fate. Come, quick, this coat do cut, shorter, and that door please do shut, lest a draught comes into this room, or a ray of light, as it's morning soon. The servants hurried to the door. They suddenly appeared by the score. To execute her rocuous orders, they flew in from across the borders and from across the miles, all straight face, serious, no smiles. A harsh demeanour all exhibited, a cold reality they all inhabited. They were all getting ready for war. The Queen, their sovereign, saw that her claws she hadn't yet sunk in to a planet not far away from sin. Sin is the planet she took over, for she was very, very clever. The name of her planet, an outdated word, made for her a powerful sword, with which to enslave all she can, woman, child, and every man. She would want them all for her own. This across the galaxies is known. She appears only to those when her other enemy, Satan's den, is overflowing with iniquity, which it has been since antiquity. They used to be buddies, him and her, but he did gravely err. Taken in by her beauty, he underestimated her strength. She, on the other hand, would go to any length to outsmart him and lead him astray. Then to her new planet she flew away. There she set up shop and stayed. Plans went swiftly, nothing delayed. All her drones quickly her followed, as the old planet got emptied and hollowed by her and her sinister plan to coerce, control, and destroy all she can. And working against Satan, but with the same aim, she didn't realise, as clever as she was, they played the same game. And although being on opposite sides it seems, they were pulling together in sordid dreams. The two forces joined strongly as one. The fierce war on humanity had begun. They joined together, those two forces, their reign of evil on earth enforces fear, anger, and terror to no end. All the rules of God divine they break and bend. They crush the precepts of the laws of love. They would be in charge as a one world gov. These plans they hatched from many eons before, stripping humanity of its heavenly law, decimating the earthly mother divine. For this, their secret plan they had to refine. For the divine earthly mother is wise, and from their actions she'll soon surmise what their evil plans are. She'd put an end to them, and bar this destruction she will try, as her weeping heart doth cry. Will her children heed her warning, as she shouts from the rooftops every morning, that afoot are evil plans to destroy them all, as they'd lost their paradise after the fall? Will they her divine wisdom heed? They her help will surely need. Some people she planted on magic soil, that which they tilled with timeless toil. They all got savagely murdered, dead, their spirits still on that sacred land tread. Others, like earth angels, delicately clad, all full of grace and love, it's been said, were scattered all across the land, by mountains, forests, sea and sand, to be beacons full of love and light, and with their flame of light blight the darkness that had possessed the earth, stripped it naked of all fun and mirth. These too were destroyed, their minds and spirits deployed to serve this sinister, evil plan, as evil hijacked them as it can. For vigilant they were not, naivety and ignorance they had got, tricked into evil's illusion of light, their own light screened off with ignorance blind. They hadn't been clever enough to outsmart her in black, and her army, which came neck to neck with these earth angels and warriors of truth and light, fighting fiercely to take their light in a fight of good against evil, as from all time she openly declared, "They are all mine!" She secretly knew that this was not true, for she knew the power of light, its strength, its forceful might. She had once been of the light too, but, beguiled by Satan's traps, like many not few, she fell for his illusion, hook, line and sinker. So the strength of light she clearly did know. Yet her allegiance to the beast she swore, always black attire she wore, her demeanour sour, her sustenance fear, feeding off it wide and near. Now we go on to Mary. Suddenly, seemingly out of the ashes she rose, for the one in black thought her dead, I suppose. Alas, actually in spirit she had been the most beautiful lady, the purest you've ever seen. Soft, pale, shining skin, to pink porcelain, dull skin akin, draped in a silken and satin elegant white gown, from head to the white marble floor down, hung flowing like a waterfall's pond, clear and pure, matching her sweet, serene, simple demure. She stood straight and tall, facing her fairy-like, lush garden green, with an array of colourful flower beds, butterflies and birds as ever seen. Fairies tended this magical piece of land, dazzling angels lend them a helping hand. She would melt hearts with her magical loving smile, honest, simple, true, not out to beguile. The sun accentuated her clean, compassionate heart, which she had perfected like a mesmerizing piece of art, not through playing evil games, or by buying into illusion's ways, as her opponent Dominic had done, hoping that that way the war'd be won. No. Queen Mary of Heaven, as many would attest, violent manipulation, anger and fear would detest. Yet, to understand fully her own children's plight, unto earth she descended, alongside them to fight. She was there in person amidst the maddening madness, her delicate heart breaking with so much sadness of how far humanity had strayed, not in the presence of sacred love and light had stayed. She watched it all so slowly unfold, the greatest story still to be told, the outcome still not made visible, to proud and evil hearts incredible. She suffered as she held her anguished children's hand, with love and compassion, broken hearts she'd mend. For their suffering was her unending pain. Since the murder of her son, she was never the same. She had her own questions, and her own brokenness too. The same as me and the same as you. There was a lot of healing, this is true, that Queen Mary of Heaven has had to do. The path she chose of the meek and humble made black-clad Dominic cruelly crumble. For Dominic couldn't understand why this queen so simple and sometimes shy, gentle, sweet soft smile all the while, would win for heaven's side many a lost heart and mind, bringing them back to themselves and to love, you will find. Her orders she did not bellow and bark. She would simply pray, and with a heavenly hark, entreat the sacred conscious power of Father, Mother, Son, to silently and sweetly fall upon everyone, so that this innate love divine they may know, and the deep-seated peace and joy it doth bestow. Once their hearts and minds awaken, they shine like a heavenly choir's ecstatic music's chime, waking up consciousnesses that had been there somehow sleeping, magically dispelling the phantom-like illusion they had been keeping, like in a dreamlike state doped, awakening them inside, Queen Mary hoped. Once the chime woke them up, dispelling darkness, their conscious awake minds would perceive the starkness of the bright luminous light they now uncovered, their true identity divine, fully awakened, rediscovered. For they had known all along who they had really been. Dominic and her troops as illusion are now being seen. As clear as day, it became crystal clear to all that Dominic and her troops had procured the fall. Jealous of the gloriousness of divinity in human embodiment, Dominic and her troops fought and would not relent to bring humanity down into their own gruesome hell, making their embodiment a hollow, sickly, sordid shell. This, of course, they couldn't really do, you see. As the divine conscious spirit within, destroyed it cannot be. So Dominic et al. Had cleverly created the illusion of it being so. Many sadly fell into this deadly delusion, and believed, as they were told, that their bodies were empty and didn't hold the divine love consciousness supreme, manifested in and through a human being. This suited Dominic and her troops to a T, and in so doing all her troops and she would manipulate, coerce, control and destroy all these divine beings, believing they were just a worthless toy. It was such a clever plan, and things for Dominic were starting to pan out, until the still, soft whispers of love inside decided silently it will not hide anymore. It would shout out loud, the wind of its sound vibration moving every cloud, which each being's clear blue sky had blocked. When this happened, Dominic et al. Was shocked. For the love within, now fully awoken, the whispers of truth clearly within spoken, showed beyond the shadow of a doubt, in its simple stillness, no need to shout, that every life form of sacred love has come, and in through its divine infinite consciousness all this had begun. Everywhere and every living being, use your own mind's eye seeing to perceive and to see your own and creation's divinity. There is no good out here or only there. God is in you and everywhere. The experience of our higher being, this I, is what makes us divine, and that's why it is easy to mistake body and soul as two, when all is one, divine consciousness and you. Dominic and her evil troops want us all to forget our essential truth, our higher being. They don't want us to get. For this truth, Dominic et al. Are fully aware of and know. is what shall wake up humanity from their slumber and show up all else as insidious illusion. Dominic et al., all as a deadly delusion, who want to appear as truth, I think a little bit uncouth. It will show how as God they dressed up. In their frenzy to deceive they wouldn't shut up. People will perceive how hard to trick they had tried, and how through their rotten teeth to us all they lied. Their plan to brainwash and coerce these untruths on us all, trying of love and light to muffle the call, now is coming to a sudden close, and boom, Dominic et al. Shall face their doom soon. So, thank you for joining me today for this somewhat bit of a longer poem than usual. I hope you enjoyed it. Check it out, and may the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on. Namaste.